How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to Catching Up with Ketchum. I am AJ. This is my lovely friend over here. What is your name?
AJ. It's Rory.
But yeah, we're back with season two, and we're gonna be going over episodes one, two, and three. And I
Of what?
repeat, season two
Of what?
of Pokemon Journeys. And as usual, we have to plug this. If you liked the video, give it a like. And let us know if you've been keeping up. And let us know what you think down below in the comments. And then if you would like to keep up with us, you can subscribe and hit the bell. And you'll know when we put new
Ooh.
videos up.
AJ spiced it up. He said, "Slam that bell for notifications."
Dang it. Real hard.
Ding!
But yeah, as usual, you can get into it and go over the summary of each episode and then we can talk about it. Sound
Let's
good?
do it.
Alright.
All right. So we start off with season 2, episode 1. Sorry, everybody. I listed these as episodes 13, 14, and 15. So you got to process. Season 2, episode 1. It's called The Climb to Be the Very Best. So we start off from the cliffhanger from the last episode of season 1 with the Gigantamax Dreadnought attacking the stadium where Leon and Lance had their big battle. Ash and Go decide that they're going to try to reason with it, and they're like literally like, Dreadnought, stop, please, don't do it. And of course, Dreadnought's just like, get
Get
out
out
of
of
here.
here.
I'm attacking. So Pikachu and Scorbunny team up to try to fight it, but they're just like, their attacks are just like bouncing off of it
Yeah.
because Dreadnought's just so big. So then it happens. The big moment. Pikachu falls back, and then all of a sudden there's crackling red light under Pikachu, and the Gigantamax beam comes out, and Pikachu is the chunky boy.
It's so good too.
It's so good.
I love how Pikachu is Chunky Chew and still has the same voice.
Yeah. I love how he just like can't control his body. He's
Yeah.
just like,
It's like he's like drunk or something. It's great.
yeah. So Pikachu's just like falling over and is just not having a good time. Hang on, I've gotta. You're getting kicked out. Everybody, say bye to Bosley. Bye, everybody. See ya. I'm being bad, so I'm getting kicked out. Okay, everybody, I'm back. So, yeah. Pikachu and Dreadnought are having like a big kaiju fight, basically. It's like a Godzilla fight. So, Leon then notices that Ash is doing all of this without a Dynamax band, which he implies he shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
Because he's like, this kid's doing this without a Dynamax? And so finally, Leon starts telling Ash what to tell Pikachu to do. Because
Yeah.
when Pokemon Dynamax, they get different moves. So Leon tells him to use his G-Max move, and Dreadnought goes down with one hit. It gets leveled with one hit, and it's kind of cute. So it like shrinks
Was
as
it
it
one
falls
hit?
down.
Because I thought he did like one move and then he used Iron Tail.
I think he used. So didn't he use Iron Tail? Or no, didn't he use Quick Attack first? But it didn't really work. Like he was like, use Quick Attack, and he starts glowing white, but then like nothing happens.
It was
But the
that, and
Iron,
then Leon said for him to do something, and then I think he did the version of Iron Tail, but I'm not positive.
yeah, the Iron Tail's cool though because Pikachu like grabs its tail like a club. So
It's so cool.
yeah, so they end up the Dreadnought goes down and it shrinks into this, and I love the way they frame it. They're like way back on it because it's huge, and they
Yeah,
show it shrink, and it's just this tiny little Dreadnought.
it's a little
Like,
turtle on his back.
yeah. So Leon goes down to meet them, and Ash is like, I want to battle. Like, that's all I want. I want to battle you. So they get interrupted by this dude comes by and is like, you're all in trouble. You're not supposed to Dynamax Pokemon around here. And Leon's like, bro, they saved the place. Like, chill. So then we have a cut, and it cuts to Ash and Go eating scones because we're in Galar, and that's like the running joke is every time they're in Galar, they have to eat scones.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're eating scones, and a little Squavit shows up, and Go catches it. It's not super important, but it's very cute.
Yeah.
And then something's like wrong with Ash. Ash is like all like down, and his cheeks are all like rosy too. And then finally, like Go realizes it's because Ash just like really wants to battle Leon. It's like making him physically ill. He wants to battle so bad.
Yeah.
So Go explains kind of how the tournament works. You basically have to enter online, and then you build your rank up by battling and winning battles, and then the top 8 players or trainers get to battle in the Masterclass tournament, which is, I guess, where Leon and Lance were battling from, I guess. So yeah, Leon's number 1, as we all know. So basically Ash kind of becomes determined. He's like, okay, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to go through this so I can battle Leon.
I thought it was funny how Go is telling Ash how to fight when Go doesn't even really want to fight that much.
Go is not a battler. There's a moment later where I don't remember what episode. It's one of these episodes, but he's like, if you're going to battle, I'm going to battle Ash. And I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, but, so Leon ends up showing up.
There is one thing. I'm going to interrupt you. What was it where they were talking about sleep?
Oh, where he's like, oh, yeah. There's like a moment where Go is like, Ash, if there weren't this many hours in a day, you'd think about battling during all of them.
Yeah.
And then Ash is like, or he's like, I think Ghost says something like, if there were 25 hours in a day, you have an extra hour to think about battling. And Ash is like, oh no, honey, I need 10 hours of sleep or I'm cranky. So
I was like, that's cranky.
Yeah. So Leon shows up, and after all of this introduction by Go to the master class and everything, Leon's like, nah, I'll battle you right now. So Go's like, are you kidding me? So
well, Ash finally gets his chance, unlike Go, where he just catches everything in one shot.
So Team Rocket shows back up, and I still don't like their Pokedex. It talks too weird. I don't like the way it talks. Like, it does this weird whisper with like a lisp. I don't like it. But a Choodle shows up, and it's real cute. It's like attached to like Jesse's hair, and it's adorable. I didn't, honestly, playing Sword and Shield, I didn't realize that Choodle was that small.
Yeah.
It's like this big.
It's tiny.
So, yeah. So we cut back into the stadium where Dan is the ref of the match between Ash and Leon.
Yep. The GOAT is back.
I knew AJ would be very happy. So Leon gives Ash a Dynamax band so that he can better control the Dynamaxing. I guess it helps him control it better. And then Leon actually touches on something here that I didn't think about before we watched it. But he's like, hey, you got to put your Pokemon in its Pokeball and then throw it to Dynamax it. But Pikachu doesn't go in its Pokeball. And I hadn't even thought about that. I was like, that's true. How is Pikachu supposed to Dynamax? But Ash literally goes, we'll figure it out. Yep. So, of course, the match is Pikachu versus Charizard. It's both their ace Pokemon. So it kind of starts out in a non-Dynamax battle where Pikachu's just like using its basic moves like Electro Web and Iron Tail and stuff. And Charizard is literally just like knocking them away with Thunder Punch. Like, does not care at all.
Yeah.
They kind of exchange some moves back and forth, but neither one, or Pikachu's not really doing anything. and then both of their one uses fire flamethrower, the other one uses thunderbolt, and they're like matched. But then flamethrower just goes right through it, and
Did it?
Pikachu.
I thought it was like, wasn't that where it was like even, and then that's where Pikachu does his thing?
Well, I thought it was even, but then the fire goes through it, and then the flamethrower hits Pikachu, and then Pikachu Dynamaxes.
I don't know.
We're both having bad
Yeah,
memories for this.
I thought it was
Uh,
like he was about to lose, and then like as that was happening, Pikachu got bigger and bigger and bigger.
okay, maybe. I watched these before. AJ's watched them more recently than me, so we're gonna go off of what he said. So it ends up they both Dynamax, they both Gigantamax Pikachu. So it's Gigantamax Charizard versus Gigantamax Pikachu. Gigantamax Charizard is still super cool. So then the battle does not last very long because Pikachu tries 3 different attacks and none of them do
Well,
anything.
it was Pikachu, and he Dynamaxed, right? And then he was trying to fight Charizard in Charizard's normal form. And then Leon's like, nah, fuck that. And then like brought Charizard back, and then that's where you got the Gigantamax Charizard.
Yeah,
So let's not
and the
forget about
battle.
that. Ash was trying to be a bully.
Well, to be fair, didn't Pikachu Dynamax on its own?
I don't know. That's my thing. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
don't
something we'll
remember Ash.
figure out.
Yeah, it seems like Ash doesn't have a good grasp of controlling Dynamax. So, but Pikachu basically tries 3 different attacks, and none of them do anything to Charizard. And then Charizard uses G-Max Wildfire and just like wrecks Pikachu.
Yep.
Pikachu is like literally on fire, and kind of seems like in a lot of pain. And I actually felt bad for Pikachu at this point. But Dan comes over, and Dan's like, "It's over."
Yeah.
Like.
He's like, done. TKO. Bye.
So Leon basically tells Ash, yo, go train more and then go up the Master League ranks and we'll meet in the tournament at the end. So we kind of got back to where it was in the garden where they were talking about it, and Ash is going to go up the ranks to try to be a master class. So, and I noted here that it just feels nice that Ash kind of finally feels like he has something to do this season. He hasn't really, it's been mostly about Go catching Pokemon, and Ash is just like nebulously like, I'm going to be a Pokemon master, but isn't
He
doing
finally
anything.
like has a goal.
Yeah. So he finally like, yeah, he has like a defined goal other than I want to be a Pokemon master. So it's just nice. It feels like he's got some agency now. So that takes us out of that episode and into season 2, episode 2, raid battle in the ruins. So Ash and Go, we start out no time in the lab. We just jump straight into Unova, Ash and Go, and we see a news broadcast that in the desert resort, these Colossus ruins have been found.
Yeah.
And like all these adventurers are coming out to try to figure out what's going on in the ruins. So that's what brings Ash and Go to Unova. And then they all try to like step out into the desert, but it's like too hot. All of their like feet like burn instantly.
Yeah.
But then Score Bunny, they're like, Score Bunny can take it because he's a fire type. And so Score Bunny like steps out there and he walks out all confident, and then he like stops for a second and you see like his feet sizzling.
Yeah.
And then he just like shoots up in the air from his feet burning. So
yeah, it's pretty funny.
yeah, it's a very anime moment. But then this woman in an Indiana Jones outfit shows up. She's got like the whole Indiana Jones thing, the hat, the whip, everything. So she tells them basically, don't underestimate the desert ruins. Like, it's super hot. So she ends up telling them, hey, let's all send out flying type Pokemon. So Ash sends out Dragonite. Go sends out Beedrill that he caught way back in that other episode, and the Beedrill like starts chasing him immediately, him and Ash immediately to sting them. And when Dragonite comes out, it gives the Indiana Jones woman this like huge hug.
Yeah.
Being Dragonite.
Yep.
So, hey, he grew arms so he could hug people.
Right.
So they end up not flying on the Pokemon, but they all basically tie ropes to the flying Pokemon, and then they like sandboard across the dunes.
Yeah. One
Which
thing
was pretty cool.
one thing that I thought was cool as well is like it's supposed to be Egypt.
Yeah, kind of.
And one thing that I thought was cool was in Egypt, like the pyramids and everything are there, but like when you look, like there's literally just a city there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the same thing there. It's like here's a desert and then here's a gigantic city.
Here's a city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool, like how they did that. It's like the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. So,
Yeah. No, I gotcha. So while they're like sandboarding out there, Dragonite and Beedrill kind of start racing, and then Dragonite like flies way up in the air, and like Ash just gets wrecked from Dragonite flying so far up. And I guess the heat. They never really showed him crash or anything, but he looks like damaged.
Yeah.
So, oh, the Indiana Jones lady uses a Braviary too, and it just looks cool.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, Braviary is a cool Pokemon. And then Ash calls Dragonite back to its Pokeball, but like Dragonite doesn't really seem to want to go back. Like Dragonite was having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I was like, well, Dragonite's coming back at some point because.
Right. How could he not?
Yeah, exactly. So it turns out the ruins, because there's all the statues, the Darmanitan statues outside the desert resort, and like Pikachu touches one, and then it comes out of its Zen mode into actual Darmanitan.
Yeah.
And scares the out of Pikachu. So, but right before it attacks them, Go just throws a Pokeball instantly and catches it because Go doesn't need to weaken anything.
Right.
Ever. And then a Litwick appears.
It was so good. It was so good.
I love Litwick, and I love its trainer, who is the leader of an excavation team, and he's just like obsessed with adventure. Like he's just like, oh, we're going on an adventure. Oh, this is an adventure. He gets like the big sparkly eyes every time he talks about an adventure.
It was like really good. Like I don't know, like you know more about Pokemon, but like is that actually like a person that shows up a lot?
No, I don't even think. As far as I know, also, I don't think they ever give him a name in this episode.
What about the Indiana Jones chick?
They do give her a name.
Okay.
None of the characters from this episode are in the games or anything.
Okay.
They do give her a name though, but they never. As far as I was trying to listen to make sure I didn't miss it, but they never give this guy who loves adventure a name, as far as I know. But he's amazing.
He's an enigma.
Yeah, but like one of the best parts of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up Ash and Go. They split up from the Indiana Jones lady. Honestly, she's just like not there when they get there. I thought that was weird.
It was weird.
I was like, where did she go?
She's outside looking at bones.
Yeah. So the adventure guy doesn't go with them inside. So Ash and go into the ruins. And they're just like stepping on the most obvious traps in the world. There's like literally blue squares on the ground that they just keep stepping on.
Yeah.
During this, Go does catch a Sandile as well. And he weakened it first before he caught it.
He did. That was the first sign of like, I was like, all right.
Good job, Go.
He's getting a taste of how this really works.
Yeah, Score Bunny beats it up and he catches it. So, and then of course we're in an ancient ruin, so you have to have the scene of them getting chased by a boulder. You can't do an ancient ruin scene in a movie or TV show without the boulder scene. So they get chased by the boulder. These dummies can't stop setting off traps, and then finally Ash steps on one that drops him like into an abyss. But the Indiana Jones lady shows up and saves him with she has a Meditite, and it uses Psychic to pull him back up out.
I never like realized what that Pokemon was, and like I love it now. It's like the chillest
Meditite's
Pokemon.
Yeah, Meditite's cool. So Meditite pulls him out of the pit, and we find out her name is Kira. So,
Mm,
and
I
she
just
is an adventurer.
I thought it was funny because she's like, save him, and he's like, and then like brings him up.
Yeah, no, Meditite's pretty cool. It's from Gen 3. I always remembered my main memory of Meditite is right before you ironically enter this desert area. There's this family, and you fight them each one by one. And the last one is a grandma, and is the grandma, and she uses a Meditite. And they always talk about how she's like the strongest one in the family. So that was the generation that Meditite came in with. So that's always what I think about when I
That's
see
pretty
Meditite.
cool.
Yeah. So we find out, yeah, her name's Kira. She's an adventurer. That's kind of all we get is, yeah, she likes adventure. So, and then she kind of gives them a whole bunch of crap for like going into a desert ruin with like no plan, no supplies, no anything. Shocker, Ash and Go are not that smart. So
Wow.
this is a weird scene that happens here. I love it. Two Coffer Gigas show up.
Well, you're missing
And
this, and I can't believe you didn't bring it up.
I missed
Was
something.
you remember when they're like in the tunnel, and then the mask Pokemon flies by?
Yeah, mask.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the coolest thing. I was like, that's great. I was like, I know what's coming now. And then that
Yeah,
scene that you're talking about now.
it's true. Yeah, your mask flies by them, foreshadowing that Coffer Giga shows up, and there's two of them. And this is what, so every sprite I've ever seen of Coffer Gigas, it's like a a tomb that's up and the arms are coming out.
Yeah.
But in this, they're on all fours with the tomb laying down, and they're walking like dogs on all fours.
Yep. I thought it was really
I
cool though how they animated it.
Yeah, no, I did too.
Yeah.
It like blew I was like, I've never thought about it like that. So we find out you can Kira's like, there's people in those Coffer Gigas, and I think you can even hear them a little bit, like muffled.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out that she knew because like they were weighed down, so they were closer to the ground, kind of illustrating that like she knows what she's doing. So they end up freeing them from the Coffer Gigas, and it is a guy and a shiny Psyduck who's blue. And we find out that his name is Shame Seeker. And I had to rewind this and put on subtitles because I rewound it 3 times and I could not understand what he was saying his name was. And it turns out that's because his name is Shame Seeker. Why is his name Shame? But
I mean,
yeah, he is kind of a dweeb.
Yeah.
So he's like a scaredy cat. But we basically find out he has the same goal as Go to catch every single Pokemon, but he only wants the shiny versions of them. And Ash and Go are like, that's gonna like literally take forever. And he's like, meh.
Yeah.
So he like shows them his Pokedex, and he has like 5 Pokemon.
And Go's like, you have like 5 Pokemon, and he's like, so?
Yeah. So this is where I was like, I kind of was hoping that it would touch on this, or even bring this Pokemon back. But Ash has a shiny Noctowl that he's had since, Johto 20 years ago. And I was kind of hoping that he was going to be like, oh, I have a shiny Pokemon too. And like, we would get to see Noctowl again, but no dice. At least not yet. Maybe Shame Seeker will come back and we'll get Noctowl at some point.
I mean, let's not forget that Ash also forgot that he had a Snorlax. So, yeah.
But then it's weird because he talks about other Pokemon he has. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, then Kira guides them. It's like a giant puzzle room, but it's like the easiest puzzle in the world. Like, everybody just hit your block, and it solves the puzzle by itself.
Yeah.
So basically, it's this puzzle on the ground that all comes together when they all hit their block, and then it comes up and makes a giant egg, and then the egg hatches, and just like a huge Golurk comes out.
Yep.
And we find out that this Golurk is the Colossus of the Colossus ruins.
He's like the
and that
protector. He protects that whole area.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my next part right here. Is basically it's the protector of the ruins because it starts attacking them immediately.
Yeah.
They show like a size comparison of like a regular Golurk and the regular Golurk's like this big, and this Golurk's like this big. So, on the little screen, obviously, it's huge in real life. So,
Yeah, it's like supposed to be 9 feet tall, and it's actually 18 feet.
Yeah. So, Ash, Go, Kira, the adventurer comes back with his Litwick, and Shame Seeker, all basically are like, we're gonna have a raid battle against it. But
well, yeah,
they had to guilt Shame Seeker into doing it. Kira was basically like, hey, if you help us, I've got a hookup that knows where shiny Pokemon are. And he's like, well, okay, I'll help. So Score Bunny has like no moves that work. Tells him to use Score Bunny uses double kick, and then is like, oh, Score Bunny, I forgot to tell you that won't work against the ghost type. Sorry. So Score Bunny goes down instantly, but then everybody's Pokemon goes down like right after that. Like Pikachu goes down, the Psyduck goes down,
Pikachu the Litwick goes down. Got like smacked in the face and like had the like red face and everything. It was so great.
Yeah. And so this is where, like we guessed in the beginning, Ash sends out Dragonite again, and everybody starts using their other Pokemon. Like Go ends up sending out Beedrill, I think, and then like Braviary and all of them. But they all go down instantly, pretty much. And then Go sends out his Darmanitan that he just caught. So it's just basically Dragonite and Darmanitan at this point. And then this part is super cool, and I loved it so much. Golurk transforms into a giant cannon, which is amazing because it's actually a reference to its concept art. Golurk was supposed to be able to turn into a cannon, but it's never been seen in the games. Like, its concept art has always had that cannon mode, but it just never appeared in the games. Like, it has no sprite for it or anything. So I thought it was cool to finally see Golurk become a cannon after all this time.
Yeah.
And then Dragonite and Darmanitan basically team up and like wreck Golurk. It gets like stuck in its cannon mode because they damage it while it's in its cannon mode. And they're like, hey, it can't switch back. And Go and Ash are like racing to catch this thing, but like Ash never throws a Pokeball. Go just throws a Pokeball right away and catches it. Yeah. So I was like, God,
what Ash, was it? What was the other Pokemon that the adventure guy sent out?
Oh, was it Lampent?
Yeah. I thought that was cool because like you start to figure out that he likes ghost type Pokemon.
Yeah, well, specifically that line, I was kind of hoping maybe we'd get a Chandelure too. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of, it makes sense. It's cool because like he's an adventurer and like those Pokemon are like his torch that he can go through ancient ruins with.
Yep.
So I thought it was cool for his character.
I also thought it was funny how like Litwick is adorable, but like evil. That's an evil Pokemon.
That whole line is evil.
Yeah.
So, no, they like steal people's souls, basically. So, yeah, Go catches it, and then, like, a part of the wall falls away where they were battling, and it's just, like, a golden hallway, and they follow it back, and they're like, this must have been the ancient city that Golurk was protecting. And then we cut to black, and we're back at the lab. And I was like, we don't get to see the city or anything. We just get the gold hallway. Mm-hmm. Like, I get it. It's supposed to be like, oh, it's El Dorado. Like, here's the city of gold. But it's like, I wish we could have seen it. Yeah. Like, after all that. But we cut back to the lab, and Golurk is in the, like, lab, like, the big terrarium area with all of Go's Pokemon. They're like crawling all over him like a statue. And they're basically like, it's like Golurk is the protector of the lab now. So it's kind of cute, honestly.
Well, it
It's
was
kind
like,
of,
what was the little Pokemon that was next to it that was a rock as well?
I don't remember,
Uh,
honestly. I don't remember what Pokemon were around it.
okay.
Was it Geodude?
No, it was like a little boulder rock like Pokemon thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember one that Go caught that was a little bolder, but I'm spacing. So, but then at the very last minute, we get a glimpse and Gengar's spying on them. So we just get a little glimpse of Gengar right here. Spoiler alert, we do not get Gengar again for these episodes, but he's still out there. Or
Nice
she.
little touch.
Yeah, it is still out there and it's still spying on them. And still seems to be kind of jealous of trainers and their Pokemon. So hopefully we get more information on that. So then we cut to episode. Oh, I almost said episode 15. Episode 3 of season 2. A snow day for searching. And it's snowing at Professor Cerise's lab.
Which isn't
And
good for him.
no, that leads to the next point that basically the snow is interfering with all of his lab equipment, and he tells Ash and Go to get lost. He
Yeah.
literally is like, go home. Like, I'm gonna have to ask you both to leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang. I was like, you don't have the heat that they could just stay in the dorm? Like,
Well, nothing
no,
works.
just go live in your little dorm. It's fine.
It's
Put a blanket
it's gonna
on.
be freezing cold.
Yeah. It's just the way he says it is really
Yeah.
funny. He's literally like, yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you guys to go home. So Ash and Go are like, all right, well, I guess we're heading home. And we cut to Go's parents, who we finally see. And they're talking about just like Go like calls them, is like, I'm coming home.
I thought this was so funny because Ash is like, "You call your parents when you're going back home." And I was like, "Damn, Ash! Like, get out!"
Yeah, whereas he just is like, Mom, I'm home. So, Go's not rude. So I did like that, like, Go's parents, like, Go is literally just different parts of them. And I know that's how kids work, but like he's literally just like an amalgamation of his parents. He has like his dad's hair, but his mom's complexion, and then like it's just cool. So they basically Go is like, well, my parents are like, he explains to Ash when Ash says that very rude comment. He's like, my parents are like engineers and whatever, and they're super busy. So like they're working all the time. I can't just show up because they work all the time. And so Go basically decides that he's going to bring a souvenir home. And we don't see them go get the souvenir, so we don't know what it is. We just cut to like Ash and Go going to the bus station where Go's going to take the bus home. And then Score Bunny like sees the bus leaving and like grabs Go and is like, come on, and drags him. And he drops the souvenir.
Yeah.
So Ash picks it up and is like, go, like you forgot, but they're gone.
It's like, Ash, you're literally yelling at a bus. Like,
my other thing was, and we find this out later, Go has a cell phone. Like,
yeah.
And we know that because of the Rotom phone. Why didn't Ash just call him at that minute and be
Right.
like, you dropped your package? But we wouldn't have the rest of the episode as that happened.
Yeah.
So we end up, Go gets home. And this episode's pretty cool in that we get to see a lot of Go's home life. He gets home and his grandma's there who lives with them. And his grandma's super cool. She's like making stew, and she cut the carrots in the shape of stars for him because he likes it that way. So, and then his grandma's literally just like, nice to see you. I missed you, but I gotta go. I got a karaoke contest. So, see ya. And she just leaves to go to her karaoke contest. But she's cool. She's like an energetic grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Then we cut back to Go's parents, and what I think is like the most interesting scene of the episode for me, where Go's parents are basically talking to each other, and they're like wondering if they left Go alone too much as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, yes, their work was important, but like Go's also important, and like maybe we left him alone too much as a kid.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's kind of a deep scene for
Oh yeah, this whole
a
episode's
kid.
pretty deep. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I could imagine it's like a conversation like my parents had, because like I was a latchkey kid. My parents worked all the time when I was a kid. And like I was kind of like Go, where I'm like, I understand. Like I get it. It's
Yeah.
fine. I can take care of myself. But yeah, and we find this out, we kind of get a glimpse of this later. There's also that part of you that's like, man, I miss my parents. But
Yeah.
like it's just cool. I don't know. I was like, wasn't expecting that from, but I guess I should have been after the Chloe episode.
Hmm.
It was just cool. They had a really adult conversation for a kid show.
Yeah. And then it leads into that, and then like they get a phone call, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get a phone call basically that they have to go.
To a
They call
hospital.
Go. I think it cuts to them calling Go.
They
I
call
can't
it.
remember.
They're like, "Hey, we need you at the hospital. You need to do this." And then they call Go, and Go's like, "Yeah, whatever." He's like, "I'm fine." And then like he gets sad, and then like
Yeah,
Score Bunny's like, and then he like gets cheery again, and Score Bunny's like, "Dude, like it's okay to be sad,"
yeah.
basically. And
It was another
they,
scene I thought
yeah,
they handled really well.
yeah,
Because I thought the same. I was like, wow, that like encapsulates exactly what it was like. Was just like, I get it. Like, go do your job. But then
yeah,
like, there's also that like, man, I miss my parents.
yeah,
So, Go does make it super clear though that like he loves his parents and like
yeah,
respects the hell out of them for what they do. Because basically, the hospital, the emergency that they get is like a hospital, like a machine broke, so like they have to go fix it for the
yeah.
hospital. And also, Go's room has a computer with 6 monitors.
That his parents put together for him.
Yeah, it's like definitely you were buying your kids love. So, um, so yeah, there's that scene with Score Bunny where Go's just like, yeah, it's cool, and then he's like, oh, and then Score Bunny like looks over, and he's like, no, Score Bunny, everything's great, and like you said, Score Bunny's like, okay. It's good though. I really like that part a lot. So Go basically decides that he's gonna go get some of the stew that his grandma made and take it to his parents so that they could have dinner. Adorable again. This episode made me like Go even more than I already did. Like
Yeah,
Go's got on my nerves a couple times, honestly, through these episodes, but this episode I really liked Go. So they end up and they're going to the hospital to deliver the stew, and then they're walking past they're gonna go through the park, and then they find 3 Mankey like picking on a Cubone,
yeah.
and it's really sad. I didn't and it was really sad. I did not like it. And then Go, okay, this part I didn't like Go as much. Go is like, oh well, it looks like that Cubone looks like he's got no chance against them. But I'm not gonna do anything about it. But then Score Bunny runs over without Go
Yeah.
asking him to, and Score Bunny just starts fighting the Mankey. And I thought it was I thought it was like perfectly in Score Bunny's character from the Nickit episode. Like Nickit,
Yeah.
he protected them from the bullies and all that. And it's just like that bone in his body is just like instantly like, I have to protect this Cubone.
Mhm.
So I like that a lot. I thought it was like perfect for Score Bunny.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Mankey end up running away. However, they steal Cubone's bone.
Well, yeah, because there was like, I think Score Bunny and Cubone were like back to back, and then like Cubone like wound up the bone, like it was getting ready to fight, and then you can get into that.
I don't think I have anything else on that.
Well, the Mankey steal Cubone's bone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they totally steal it. And they run off, and then Cubone is like super broken up about it, and Go is like, don't worry, I'm gonna help you find the bone.
Yeah.
So Go basically then calls a bunch of his Pokemon from previous episodes, like Scyther and Beedrill and Talo.
It's
And
all
they basically,
flying Pokemon, so that
yeah,
they
that's
can look
true.
over. They can look over everything.
That's true. Honestly, I didn't even think about that. So good eye. So he calls them all out, and there's like a montage scene of all of the Pokemon looking for the bone. I only have notes on the highlight. If you had other parts that you like, go ahead, let us know. But the best part for me was Scyther gets pelted by a bunch of snowballs from
Yeah,
There's like 3 Geodude that just like pelt Scyther with
it was a
snowballs.
great scene.
Yeah. It was definitely my favorite part. Like I said, there's like a couple. Talo like flies into like a little log and is just like, I'm cold. Like,
Yeah,
um, but Ash ends up at Go's apartment and is like, no one's here. So he calls Go like he should have originally, and Go's like, you're here, and Ash is like, yeah, dude, I'm here. I brought your present. You left it. And he's like, okay, well, I'm over at the park.
well, he
So
didn't
Ash
say. I
runs
don't
over.
think he told him that yet. He doesn't know
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you're right. You're right. Because he gets broken up about it
yeah,
later. So yeah, he ends up telling him he's at the park, and they all decide to, Ash included, set a trap to catch the Mankey. They set a berry on like a park bench, and there's this great scene where it's like shifting across and looking at everybody hiding, and like Go's Pokemon have like grass like on them, like they're hiding. Especially Scyther just has like moss over its head.
yeah,
So it was a funny scene, and then it works. The Mankey show up, and they end up like knocking out all the Mankey pretty much. They just like kick their ass. Like Pikachu takes down one, and then I think Scorbunny takes down another one too, right?
I thought like Pikachu tried to catch him in the Electro Web and it didn't work, and then
But then
something happened.
Pikachu like thunderbolts one
Yeah,
though. I
that's what it
remember
is.
that.
Yep.
But anyways, they knock out all the Mankey,
Mm,
and we find out that the Mankey lost the bone. So we're no closer to catching it than we were before. So they all end up kind of teaming up to go look for it now, including the Mankey. Go
yeah,
is like, you're helping. Like,
yeah,
this is your fault. um, so they end up. There's this funny scene where Go's parents are like going home, and
yeah.
they're walking past the park, and it's just like,
This was kind of a deep scene too. I don't know if you picked up on it, like I picked up on it,
go ahead.
but like it's literally all their Pokemon, right? Flying, and you have like Ash and you have Go on the Dragonite, and like it's just this like super empowering like scene of like all of this and like seeing Go can like take care of himself and like he's learned like it's like that moment where they're like, damn, like I really had no part in any of this.
Yeah.
And it's just like him being like independent, doing his own thing. And I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was really cool.
Yeah, because there's a few during his parents' conversations, there's a few parts where they're like, not only do they talk about how they're worried that they weren't around when he was a kid, but they're like, what if he went down the wrong path because we weren't around?
Yeah.
So this kind of like eases their fear. It's like that part of it, like you said, where like we didn't have a part of this, but like also it kind of like he turned out okay.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's just this cool scene of watching Go and Ash and all the Pokemon just like flying across. And they end up at a pond. I think a Firo takes them there. A Firo is basically like, hey, I found it.
Hmm.
Is it Go's Firo? I don't remember him catching a Firo. Did he catch a
I don't
Firo?
know whose it was.
Yeah. Anyways, the Firo has a super annoying voice. It was driving me crazy. But they find out the Firo is like, yo, the bone's in the water, in the pond. So this is where we get another callback to a Go Pokemon, and Dugong's
Yeah,
back.
it's great.
So apparently over his heartbreak finally.
Hmm.
So Dugong dives down, finds the bone. The bone's smaller than I thought. It's like tiny in Dugong's mouth, but I guess Cubone is tiny.
Yeah,
So
Cubone is a little
but
Pokemon.
it was just like smaller than I was. I was like expecting Dugong to come out with like it in its mouth,
Yeah, I was
like a
too.
dog bone,
Yeah,
but it's just like on its tongue.
yeah. But it
Um,
does give you a good size comparison because like Cubone like waddles up and it's like tiny.
yeah, for
So
sure. Cubone is very small. So then Go's parents show up, and we find out that like they're like, "Oh, you must be Ash that we hear all about." And here's Pikachu, and we find out that Go's basically been telling his parents all about Ash and Pikachu, and they're so it's just like this cute scene of like Go cares, like
well, it was
clearly Ash.
that, and then Ash was like, "Oh," basically.
He's like, "You're telling people about me, huh?" And Go gets embarrassed. So
Yeah.
then Cubone, basically, we find out Cubone wants to join Go.
Mm-hmm.
So
That
literally
it was a
just
good scene.
throws a Pokeball in the air and catches it.
It's
So
always good when somebody like ends up taking Cubone. So
yeah,
yeah,
no, I agree. I hope we get a lot of Cubone because we don't get a ton of some of Go's Pokemon. Like we get Scyther every once in a while. We get really Scyther is the main one we get, but we don't get a ton of his other Pokemon. So I hope we get a lot of views of Cubone because Cubone's adorable. So this is where Ash is like, goes like, I got you a souvenir, but I guess I lost it. And Ash is like, no, you didn't.
yeah,
And Go gets all emotional about Ash getting the souvenir.
yeah. It was pretty great. And then
Yeah.
like just the present was adorable as well.
Yeah, it was gloves, right?
Yep, he got his mom like knitted gloves and his dad like leather gloves, and he was like, "It's chilly."
Yeah. It was cute. So then they're like, hey, Ash, why don't you come back to the apartment? We'll have dinner. So,
Well, it was that, and then like Ash's stomach like started growling,
of
and then
course,
they're
because
like,
Ash.
yeah, and then they're like, "Come over for dinner."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they all go back to Go's apartment. We find out that Go's grandma won the karaoke contest and has a giant gold trophy now. And then kind of we just close on the scene, kind of just a happy scene of them all having fun,
Yeah.
just chilling in the apartment. So that was all of the episodes. That was season 2, episodes 1, 2, and 3. What were your thoughts?
Um, it wasn't like when we first started like the season 1. Um, I feel like some of the episodes are a bit rushed
Mhm.
for me. But like I really liked episode 1 of season 2. And then episode 2 for me, it was like really just like different aspects of it.
I
But
agree.
other than that, I was like, this is just way too rushed. And it's really not that good, but it's like cool seeing the Pokemon in action.
Mm-hmm.
And then episode 3, I don't know. I thought it was good, but like it was just like with Chloe, I was like, there's not enough time for figuring out about Go's life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think like if I had to pick an episode, it'd probably be, I don't know. I think I'd just have to go with 1. Episode
Okay.
1 for me, it was just like there was just so much like stuff. It was like you got to see like Leon like respects just anybody. Like, well, not just anybody. He's like if he sees that like they're good, they're like talented and everything like that, like he's gonna take the time. Like he's not a dick basically, which we already know that. Um but yeah, it was just like it was really cool seeing that, and then like you got to see Chunky Chew, which was so good, and
Mm-hmm.
then just there's so many different aspects in that episode that were just like really cool to me.
Okay.
But yeah, I think just like as a whole, that one was my favorite. But
Okay.
if I had to pick like favorite scenes, I would have to do like all the Go stuff of
Mm-hmm.
like learning about him. I
Okay.
don't
Yeah. No, I get it. I think this is the first episode where we're going to disagree. Um, episode 3 was my favorite. I did think that the stuff in the park did get a little bogged down.
Yeah.
It got a little. There was a few times it got a little slow. Just took a little too long. But other than that, I thought that episode was the best for me. Then I would probably go episode 1. I would agree with you there. Episode 1 was really just like, it was consistently entertaining, but it
Yeah.
didn't hit the highs that episode 3 hit. And then episode 2, episode 2 has some cool moments, but overall, I thought,
Yeah.
I thought it was like really cool once like Golurk hatched from the egg. But then it was like weird how they're like, oh, we found the lost city, and we don't get to see it at all. And then, it just had a lot of weird stuff going on. Like Shame, whatever his name is. I'm like, why were you here? Like Shame Seeker. Like he just didn't. I'm like, I don't.
He didn't
I feel
make
like you
much
could have
sense
been
at all.
introduced in a different episode. Like, he just didn't fit. Like
I think the way they
other
tried to fit him in was like he was looking for shiny Pokemon and then like was messing around in the wrong area. But it was like still it was just like, no, it doesn't make much sense here.
It's just like you're introducing 3 new characters. One of them, as far as I know, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but one of them doesn't get a name. The adventurer does not get a name as far as I know. Kira was cool. I mean, I was fine with her. But Shame just felt out of place. It just felt like a part of a different episode that got like mixed in here somehow.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of lulled, especially in the beginning and when they go into the ruins for the first time until Golurk catches. So that was easily the weakest one for me. The other 2 are pretty close, but I would lean episode 3 just because of the highs. Overall, good. Wasn't my favorite week of episodes, but they were good.
Yeah. I can agree with you on that one.
Yeah. I'm still loving the show.
For sure.
Still want to watch a lot more. I want to figure out what's going on with Gengar. But yeah, I think that's all I got for these episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I don't know, it's like typical anime. Like you have your episodes and then there's usually some weak ones. So
yeah. It was a solid B for this batch of episodes.
Yeah. Like it's not gonna make me not watch it anymore. So
no, they were good, not great.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's it. If you like the episode, give it a like. Let us know down below, especially if you know that adventurer's name. Please let me know that I was wrong. And yeah, subscribe if you want to keep up. And next week we will be watching season 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6. So if you want to watch those, get them watched by next Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. I hope you all have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.